trust your brain, Julianne, sometimes it works. Well, hello there and welcome back to Lovebird Lane. My name is Julianne and I'd like to thank you all for joining me here today. I am in yet a new environment here. I've decided that the best light is upstairs in my house, so that is where we are today. So if you are a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back. And if you are trying me out for the very first time, thank you so much for spending some time with me. Today I have a few things to talk about. As I said, I'm up in my bedroom. It might be a little bit echoey up here because up here is actually probably the neatest room in my house still. And I'm getting pretty hot up here though. If I do start to sweat a lot, I do apologise, but it is a bit warm up here and this air conditioner that you can see above me doesn't work. Not that I would put it on anyway because it'd probably be very, very loud. So you can see behind me I have an FO and I will not be trying that on today, definitely not. I will put in some footage that I will take on my brand new gimbal, which I purchased a couple of weeks ago, in a little bit when I talk about that project. And I'm just a little bit self-conscious because my window is open for a little bit of air and my neighbours have come out to their rubbish bin. So if you hear something in the background, hopefully they won't notice me and look up here. But yes, if you do hear something in the background, that is my neighbours. So I am here, I'm recording again because pretty much I wanted to announce that I will be doing Vlogmas this year. I probably mentioned it already, but yes, tomorrow is the first day of December, as I didn't tell you. Today is the 30th of November 2021. It is a very warm day, as I mentioned. It's going to be 31 today, and tomorrow is going to be even warmer, so I thought I'd better get the actual craft vlog done today instead of tomorrow on the hotter day. And I am up here with my giant jug of water, glass of water, just to keep myself hydrated up here because like I said, I probably will be sweating very soon. I am also using my brand new microphone that I purchased I think earlier in the year sometime. I haven't actually had a chance to use it yet and I am trying that today, so hopefully the audio that you are hearing now, if it all works, it appears to be working. I've got my laptop down there doing the microphone sound recording, I guess you would call it, which is what it is. So hopefully the sound is a little bit better today as well. Fingers crossed that that all works. And what should I talk about? I should probably get on with what I have been working on because I do have a fair amount this episode. So let's start with the elephant in the room, which you can kind of see behind me. I'm sitting on one side of the bed, she's over the other side of the bed, so we're a little bit far apart, so you can't really see a lot of the detail from here, but I will be putting in some footage over the top, so I hope you enjoy that. This is my cruiser cardigan, so you have seen me working on this for a couple of episodes, I believe. It was going for a little while. I did finish her quite a while ago and just hadn't recorded a vlog to talk to you about it. So that is a pattern by Skein Yarn, who is Kristen Finlay, or Finlay, I'm not entirely sure. And it is a pattern that is designed for fingering weight yarn held double with a strand of mohair, which is what I did in my version. I used my yarns, Lovebird Lane yarns, and I used the colourway. What colourway did I use? I've just suddenly blanked on it. New Stone Cave, which was one of my Water Caves colourways that I did for a yarn club earlier in 2021. This colourway is actually coming up off its exclusivity period, so when I start dyeing yarn again, which is possibly not until next year now, I think I'm going to be focusing on mainly getting my house in order, seeing I moved, did advent calendar dyeing and preparation, and then now we're on to this period of time leading up to Christmas, so I think I'm probably going to be mostly focusing on getting my house in order, decluttering, all of that good stuff, just so I've got a nice tidy house for Christmas. But yes, I will be getting some of this yarn in the shop at some point early next year, so I'm really excited to get it in the shop and have you guys to be able to get your hands on it, because I know that this is one that a lot of you have really liked. So I'm really pleased with how it knit up as well. I did not alternate skeins on this project at all. and it still worked out fine. To the eye, it doesn't, you can't see any pulling or flashing, which I am so happy about, because that is my pet peeve with hand-dyed yarn, is any yarns that flash and pull or stack. I really don't like that. It's not my jam, but if you like it, all power to you, but it's just not my thing. But yeah, it knit up really, really well. I can't actually remember what needles I used for it now, needle size. It'll be on my project page on Ravelry, which I will have linked down below in the description. And yeah, it took a little while to knit up, and I actually had a whole skein of my kid silk left over at the end. So I've just got this random full skein of Newstone Cave. So I'll make a kit or something for that. And pop that in the shop next year, dye up a full skein of the same colour and sell it as a hat kit or something. I have to say, with this project, it really did grow when it got a wash. This has been blocked, it has been washed and spread out flat. I don't tend to really pin block things. I'm more of a give it a wash, get it sorted, lay it flat, let it dry kind of girl. I can't be doing with all those pinning things. Even with my shawls, it's very rare that I would pin a shawl. But yeah, so I've washed it, I've let it dry. Now, if you recall, this project has big bat wing sleeves, which you can't really see on my dress form. My dress form's a little bit small for the size of cardigan that I made. This dress form, I believe, is about a size 12, and the cardigan I will put down in the little bar, the doobly-doo, what size I knit out of the cardigan. Also, that will all be on my project page as well. But yes, I do hope that you have enjoyed the little B-roll that I have put in here of my new cruiser cardigan. I think the temperature is probably well and truly too hot now for me to be able to wear that before next winter, but that's fine. I can tuck it away, make sure it's all nice and cozy for the summer, and grab that back out next year for winter. So I'm really pleased with how it turned out, and I can't wait to wear it. And yeah, I really don't know what else to say about it. So for my first work in progress, I think what I should do is finally show you guys the project that you're probably all really, really annoyed at me that I have started and gotten really far along on without showing you. I've had a couple of little pictures on Instagram, but I haven't really shared any more than that. I was right the first time. Trust your brain, Julianne, sometimes it works. So this is my bubble cardigan. So this is a pattern by Stephen West. A lot of you probably are familiar with said person and said pattern. I was very, very much taken with Kristen, who is from Full and Fine Yarns. I was really taken with her bubble cardigan, and I just wanted to cast one on very, very similar to hers. So I've picked colours like my colourways. So this is my own yarn. This is Lovebird Lane Yarns. And I did pick colourways that were fairly similar to the ones that Kristen used in hers, because I just adored her cardigan so much. And as you can see, I have done quite a lot. So I have stopped knitting the body for the moment. I've got all my tails hanging out there. They are actually woven in. I use Kristen's tutorial that she has on her channel. Yes, so she shows you there how to weave in the ends as if you're catching floats in colour work, which is what I have actually done in this project. So although there is those lots of lots and lots of tails, as you can see there, they are all woven in, they just really need to be trimmed. And also, like Kristen's project, I have decided to steek my cardigan. So as you can see there, I am knitting this in the round. I have put in steeking stitches here, so I just copied along what Kristen did. She added 12 extra stitches. I have done a purl on each end and then 10 stockinette stitches in between. So this is the back. I have just started the sleeve, as you can see there. I'm only on to my second repeat of the colours. I am ripping through my yarn though, so maybe we'll talk about the yarn now. Absolutely ripping through this. So this is my own yarn. As I said, it is Lovebird Lane Yarns, and it is my singles base. So if you've been following me for any length of time, you know that I absolutely adore my singles base, or any singles base. If you give me some yarn that's singles, I will adore it. I like to call it my BFF, so it's my base fave forever. And ugh, it's a bit messy. Let's turn it around. It's a bit neater on this side. So these are 4 of the colours that I'm using. So this is Starless, which is just a shaded black, as you can see there. And then I have this one here, which is Gently, I believe it's called. But I did add a little bit more brown to it just to tone it right down, because the original Gently was quite purple and I decided I didn't want the purple, so I've added brown, and I actually think I prefer this the way it is with the extra brown. So I think going forward that's probably how I'm going to dye this yarn for the shop. Next up in my order I have Penny, which is kind of this red coppery kind of colour, so hence the name Penny. And then I'm using Pearl, or Speckled Pearl this is. So Pearl and Speckled Pearl are both colourways that I do dye. Pearl is just sort of the plain, it's almost like a champagne pearl colour. So if you know what a champagne pearl, it's that beigey kind of almost iridescent kind of colour. That's what this kind of gives off. But Speckled Pearl, obviously, like the name says, is speckled. So that's what I'm using here. Next up I have Fletcher, which is a sort of a tonal grey with some black and brown speckles. And yes, those are the 5 colours. So as you can see, I am getting quite low on my yarns. My balls are getting very, very messy. I have actually rewound these and they are still in that bad a condition. But, you know, what are you going to do? So it's got this I-cord cast on that you then pick up stitches and knit either way. So you start with that I-cord cast on, pick up stitches. It's not technically an I-cord cast on, it's an I-cord that you knit and then you pick up your stitches within the I-cord rather than doing an I-cord cast on. I actually prefer to do that regardless of I-cord cast-ons. If there is another way that you can do it where you get your loops onto the needles while knitting the I-cord, I actually don't really like that look because I find it's a bit tight, whereas if you just knit your I-cord cable, you know, your tube of knitting that you create when you create an I-cord, and pick up your stitches off that, I think it actually gives a much better result. So I'm really glad that that's what Stephen chose to use in this pattern, and it makes sense as well because you're basically picking up on 2 sides of that I-cord. So enough rambling. You do your I-cord, then you knit one side, the other side, and then you cast on for the back, knit down, and then once they're all the same length, you join in, for me, in the round because I put steeping stitches in, otherwise you're knitting backwards and forwards, but you do join in the front and the back panels together. So let's finally show you the colours properly. Yes, so we've got Starless at the top, then we've got Gently in here, Penny, Speckled Pearl, Fletcher, and then back to Starless again. So yeah, I'm really, really pleased with how it's coming out. Looking at the pattern, I don't know whether it's because I'm using needles that are too big. I feel like this might be quite oversized for me. I'm using my Higher 4mm stainless steel sharps, which is a US 6. And I don't know whether it's going to be too big because I'm ripping through my yarn, and for the size that I'm supposed to be knitting, you only need 2 skeins of your main yarn and 1 each of the, so the main yarn is, or he calls it the contrast colour, so that's the black in my case, and so the cuffs, the hem and the collar will all be in Starless, the black, and only 1 skein of each of the other 4 colours. But I think I'm going to have to crack into my 2nd skeins of each of those colours because I dye usually in 2 skeins at a time. And I was going to put them in the shop, and I'm really, really glad that I didn't because, yeah, if I'd popped them in the shop and they had sold and I needed to finish this cardigan with them, I would be pretty stuffed. although because it's striped it probably wouldn't notice that much being different dye lots. But yeah, I think I may actually need to crack into those other skeins of yarn, but we'll wait and see. So that's why I have put the body on hold, because the repeats that I have done match the repeats I believe that Kristen did. I was looking at Stephen's and Kristen's cardigan and the lengths that they both did, and I counted the repeats, and I think I've passed where Stephen was. I think I've gone all the way to where Kristen knit. And her cardigan with the hem on it, I think comes down about mid-thigh or so, just above the knee, something like that. So that's kind of what I was aiming for. But I thought I would start the sleeves, and if I can get the sleeves out of what is left of those balls of yarn, I may continue the body a little bit longer, because I've been wearing, if you are a returning viewer, you probably recall my no frills cardigan that I knit recently, the really big long one, the grey, the light grey, pink and dark grey striped cardigan that I knit. I literally lived in that for the end of winter. Like, it was on my body every single day, and I really, really love it. I really love that long style of cardigan. That cardigan to me comes down to about my knees, and I just adore that cardigan. So I think I'm gonna have to knit another one, because I'm probably gonna wear the one that I have well out. But yeah, I was sort of aiming for something similar to that from my bubble cardigan. So if I can do the sleeves and have a little bit of yarn left over, maybe should do another repeat, I probably will. But that is to be seen. It really depends on how much yarn gets used in the sleeves. But as this pattern kind of, it has a drop shoulder. You probably, oh yeah, you probably see. So I guess the drop shoulder kind of does go down most of the way down the top of my arm. So I guess the sleeves aren't technically that long, because obviously, like I said, the shoulders, the drop sleeve comes down to about here. So I only really need to do that portion. Well, no, even that is the cuff. So I only have this small portion, so probably maybe 2 or 3 repeats of the pattern. So I think I might be able to. But that is all to be seen, because I've actually put this project down for the moment, because when you're doing the body, obviously your rounds are very, very long. You get a good amount of time between doing those bubble rows, which aren't really hard. I wouldn't call them hard, but they are just that extra bit of brain power that you need to count your stitches and do the, do the bubble stitch and, all of that kind of stuff. And on the sleeves, obviously they're much smaller diameter, and the way the pattern is written, they are pretty much, for my size, reducing very, very quickly. The round's getting smaller and smaller, and it's less and less time between those colour changes and the bubble rows, and yeah, I just kind of had my fill for the moment, I think, of this project. Even though it's beautiful, and I'm keeping it around me as something that I can choose to work on if I do want to, but for the moment I've kind of stepped away from it. But never fear, it will get done. It'll probably get done fairly soon, possibly even by the end of the year, who even knows. But I am working on something else that will probably, I have a feeling it will get done beforehand, but I have 3 more projects here to talk about, and I've already been talking for quite a long time today so far, so hopefully you're going to enjoy this longer, more bumper episode. I know the last one was pretty short. I'll talk a bit more about why that was and that kind of thing towards the end, but for now I guess I will get on to my next work in progress. So I'm going in absolutely no particular order here. They're just within arm's reach, which ones that I can grab. Actually, I've just realised that you can kind of see just down in here, you kind of little bit of spoilers of what I'm talking about. And my microphone is in the shot as well. I didn't realise that was there either. Oh, maybe I need to do a bit of zooming when I do some editing. I guess you won't even hear this part if I do. But yes, my next thing that I have been working on is something that I popped up on Instagram when it was just yarn. I have not shown off my progress on it yet, but it is a crochet project bag. So this is a pattern by my good friend Jess of the Sweater Collective, and it's a free pattern. which is very, very generous of Jess. Thank you so much, my darling. And it is a free pattern on her website. It is not on Ravelry for download. It just redirects you to thesweatercollective.com.au. I'll put it in the down bar if that is wrong. But I am using some yarn. Let's not look at the jog side. I am using a Jess's sort of jogless method, but you do still get a little bit of jogging. So I'll show you up close. So it's crochet, as you can see. It's single crochets through the back loop only, so you get that really cool ridged look. I was very familiar with this type of stitch because I used to do a lot of amigurumi, especially Fresh Stitches designs. I don't think that's what she's called, nor I don't think she designs anymore. But I used to do a ton of Fresh Stitches. That's really hard to say. Crochet amigurumi designs. So I was very, very comfortable with crocheting just through the back loop so that you get that sort of ridged look. And I actually do prefer that ridged look. I think it's just because that's what I kind of, you know, I was doing a lot, and I sometimes just prefer that to doing like crochet through both of the top loops. But yes, I haven't worked on this for a little while because crochet does kind of hurt my hands after a little while. If you have been following me for any length of time, you know that I have had quite a lot of issues with my hands. I've had a lot of pain in my hands, quite debilitating pain at times in my hands, my arms, my shoulders. I have been to the doctor, so never fear. They just said it's basically a strain injury, but it just comes back. I just keep getting it all the time. Although, touch wood, I have been very, very good of late, except for crochet. So crochet is not really something I do a lot of because of that reason. But anyway, this is Jess's pattern, and I am using the same yarn that she used for one of her samples that she had on Instagram. So this is just some yarn from Spotlight. Hopefully there's not too much glare there and you can read the label. So it's 4 Seasons Flinders cotton. It is 8 ply, but it is very, very fine 8 ply. Yeah, so you can see it's relatively fine for an 8 ply, but then again, cotton usually is. It's usually appears a little bit more thin for the ply weight that is suggested, but I'm assuming that it probably works up at that ply. I'd love to know, actually, if you know why cotton is seemingly thinner, to look at than wool, but still be considered the same thickness, you know, ply of yarn, please do let me know, because I'd be really interested to know that. Okay, so my phone just rang and it's just thrown me all out. So yeah, I'm using 3 different colours. I'm doing the striped version. So this one was called, let me have a look, Bark. This one was Bark. This one I believe is Claret. And this one is Blush. I did want to crochet this just out of the Bark and the Blush, but unfortunately at my Spotlight when I bought this yarn, there was only the one ball of the Blush, and I actually found it completely up the other end of the aisle from where the rest of the Flinders cotton was. So I picked it up because I liked the colour so much, and then that jogged my memory that it was like, that's right, Jess did a sample in this cotton yarn, so I was like, I should grab some so that I can crochet one of those bags. And then when I got to the Flinders cotton section, there was just no more in the Blush, so it was a little bit sad. They had pale pink, but it wasn't really my thing. I much preferred sort of that sort of slightly darker, it looks really pink on the screen actually, it's a little bit more blush-like in real life. But yeah, I was really a little bit sad because I kind of just wanted the brown and the pink, but I had to improvise, so that's where the Claret came in. So I believe the pattern for this suggests a 3.5mm hook, I think. If I am wrong, I will put it down in the down bar as usual where all my corrections go. But I don't know if I either don't have one in my set, because I use the Tulip soft grip crochet hooks because I find that a lot more comfortable for my hands. I do have a set like in a, you know, a full-on case and everything, and I'm pretty sure either there isn't a 3.5 or I'm using it in another project because it was not in the little case that I have. So I just went ahead and start crocheting on a 3.75. So that is what I'm using for this. So I think I need to do, I think there's going to end up 3 claret stripes, I believe, before I do my drawstring, because this is a drawstring bag, before I do my drawstring channels. So yeah, I've got a little ways to go. Hopefully I can pick this up again. I did temporarily lose my 3.75 hook somewhere in the lounge room, but I think I found that now, so I have no excuse to not get back onto this and spend a little bit of time, maybe even instead of like big long swathes of time working on this and making my hands sore, maybe I can just do 10-15 minutes a day and at least it's still getting done, isn't it? So yeah, hopefully this one will be a FO and FO pretty soon. Alright, so now maybe I will tell you about a project that is probably older than all of the ones that I've already shown you. It's been on the needles for a little while, but they are just a pair of socks and I haven't got very far in them at all. I cast them on. So this was the colorway that I actually used. I can show you this now. These are the colorway, this is the Mewstone Cave that I actually used. These are leftovers from my cardigan. So as you can see there, it looks very different on the mohair, but that is the Mewstone Cave colorway. So now you've seen it. And these are just a pair of socks. These are my regular, yes I did. I just pulled some stitches off the needles. Fabulous. These is my basic sock knitting pattern, and you can find that on Ravelry. I do have that as a free download if you have never knit socks before. It's a nice basic stockinette sock. It's not really a recipe, it's still a pattern. But yes, that is what I'm knitting up here. So I'm pretty pleased with it. I always like to test my colorways to see whether they pull or stack in socks. So I'm okay with this. It's not bad. I don't think it's stacking too badly. I mean, obviously on this tiny circumference, you're always going to get a little bit of, you know, colours coming round at the same time, but yeah, it's all right. It's okay. It just passes my scrutiny. But yeah, so it's just my basic vanilla sock. I'm using my 9mm higher sharps needles, and I've just lost all my stitches again. And I was knitting my socks for a little while on 2.25mm needles, but I have swapped back to 2.5mm needles, which is what I used to use historically a long time ago. That is what you will find written in my sock pattern. But yeah, I don't know when I'm going to be working more on that sock, because I have lots of better projects that I'm enjoying even more than the socks. So yeah, we'll see how that sock goes. And the last project that I'm going to talk about is actually my newest project, and I cast this on Saturday. I still got a random ball of mohair here. Yeah, so if you follow me on Instagram, it would have been in the little animated doobly-doo that I'm so very proud of at the beginning of the episode, or it's down in the description where you'll find links to a whole bunch of stuff, including all of my projects that I'm talking about here. Is the V-backed tee. I actually wrote the wrong thing on Instagram the other day. I said V-neck tee. It's the V-back tee. I have gone back and corrected that. So it's basically a t-shirt. I was really hoping to have separated for the sleeves so that you'd be able to see this a little bit better. But I was sitting downstairs trying to hammer it out, and then I realised that the sun's coming over because we are facing west. And I don't really want to sit here in this room when the sun has come over, because it'll be bloody hot and very glary, and I thought this was probably the best time for the good light. So we don't have separated sleeves, so you'll just have to forgive me and try and imagine what this is going to look like not being bunched up on needles. So obviously it's in the round, so I'm mid-row and I don't have sleeves separated. I have a few ends hanging off here and there because I have just completed this morning my first fade section. So this pattern is written for 3 to 5. I mean, you can do it in one color if you want, but it is designed to fade up to 5 colors through it. So I'm using 3, as you would know if you saw my Instagram post. Now, where are the shoulders? If I can find the shoulders, I can hold it up kind of how it's going to look once it's off the needles. Okay, I think I'm approximately in the right place. But yeah, as you can see, it's very, very hard for you to tell what on earth I am holding because, as I said, my sleeves have not been separated yet. Now, I am making size 5 of this, which I believe is the 47-inch bust, which probably for me right now is a 0-inch ease, but I am currently losing a little bit of weight, so I'm hoping that this will fit me quite nicely within a month or so. I mean, it's possibly even going to take me a month to finish this, but you know, I feel like I've done quite a bit since Saturday. I cast on the neck on Saturday, and yeah, I've just been working on this pretty much every time I sit down to knit. I've just been working on this for the last few days. So today's Tuesday, so yeah, I've been working on this for 3.5 days because I started very late on Saturday. We'll call that a half. But yeah, I'm using hedgehog fibres for this pattern. And I did actually specifically purchase these colorways for this pattern. I can't remember, I saw somewhere on Instagram somebody had the 3 colors that I chose as an Instagram post from Hedgehog Fibres, and I loved the combination so much I just hopped straight onto Eat Sleep Knit and grabbed a skein of each, and specifically for this cardigan, and that was back in I think mid 2019, so it's not deep stash, but it is quite old stash. So I'm really glad that I just got a bee in my bonnet on Saturday night, and I just kept thinking about it, and Simon was late, I think, from sailing because he popped over to one of the other guys' house to check out his new lawn or something. So yeah, Simon was a bit late, so I just jumped up, got into my stash, found the yarns, wound them up and cast on, and yeah, so far so good. So yes, as I said, this is Hedgehog Fibres yarn, and this colourway here, the very first colourway, is June, and then I have done my little fade section. Let's see if I can make that a little bit clearer. That is the faded section, so you kind of one of the next one, 2 of the old one, 2 of the next one, and sort of fade them through. And I have 3 colours, as I said, and I've lost a stitch because I seem to be an expert at that today. Oh, don't even get me started, I'll tell you that story in a minute. So yes, you've seen June, and then this is the colour that I am currently using. This is Plume. So it's like this really deep red burgundy, but it's got these shots of lighter yarn through them, and weirdly enough, which I didn't actually realise, it's almost like the sections of, like the lighter sections in the Plume are exactly like June. It is the weirdest thing. Like if you look just under here, like you can see here that this is the Plume, this is June, this is Plume, and then you get along here and it's almost like it just all disappears into each other, because it's almost like those coloured sections, those lighter sections in here are almost identical to the June, which is so weird. And my third colour is this one, which is Rosewood. And these are all on the Skinny Singles base as well. And weirdly enough, portions of this are identical to portions of this. So I guess for faded colours, I'm doing okay. I'm just a bit concerned that it's going to be like too faded and you're not going to really see my work, but I'm sure you probably will. But yeah, I'm really enjoying this. It's pretty mindless. It is basically a reversible tee as well. You can wear it with the scoop neck collar, which is what I'm wearing today, or you can wear it with the V-neck side. So you can have the V-neck at the back or at the front. depends what you feel like. I'm probably going to wear it from at the front because being a bigger chested girl, usually we look a little bit better in a V-neck than we do in a scoop neck. So yeah, that is the V-neck size there. So side, not size. And it's just done by increases. So I actually looked at the pattern, I thought it was decreases, but it's actually increases. So not that that matters, it doesn't matter either way. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it. And the yarn has been really lovely. And it's so strange, the June actually knit up a lot different than I was expecting, but I still do really love it. But yeah, I had, as I said, I'm doing really well dropping stitches today, and last night I had a major snafu. It was just like, you've got to be kidding me. I was knitting along, and because yes, I do have a lot of stitches on my cable, I know, but once I separate from my sleeves, it's going to be a lot better. But last night I'm working along, and I pulled my stitches around, and my cable popped out of the, like, you know, if you are familiar with interchangeable needles, you've got your needle piece, then you've got your cable with another piece of metal that you screw the needle into. And my cable completely came out of that intermediary piece. So a bunch of my stitches just fell off the needles, and I'm like, crap. So I picked up the cable, I shoved it back in as hard as I could, hoping that I would be able to get back around the round to pick up those stitches before I changed out my cable, because I wasn't going to trust that it was going to stay just by shoving it back up inside the little metal section. But it fell out again. So I actually ended up with 2 huge gaping sections that had fallen off, and I was not happy, shall we say. Even Simon was too engrossed in watching the first couple of episodes of Hawkeye last night that I didn't even get any sympathy from him, so, you know, what good is he? No, really, he's a lot of good. Just don't listen to me. But I'm just being an attention seeker. But yeah, I was not happy about that. So once it fell out the second time, I was like, no, I've got to just bite the bullet, change my cable. And I did, and had to pick up a lot of drop stitches, because not only did I drop them, they started to unravel, so that was just fabulous. So probably the last half an hour or more of my knitting time last night was literally just picking up stitches and re-knitting stitches. So yeah, that wasn't fun. I was, like I said, because I was hoping to get the sleeve split before I spoke to you guys about it, but that just didn't happen. That is all the things that I have been working on. I'm going to take a nice big swig of water, because it's getting warm up here, and I've been going for quite a while. 3/4 of an hour actually, so hopefully the end result will not be that long, but that is how long I've been talking. So I guess we can move on to other bits and pieces, what's been going on in my life. I can't remember if I spoke about it. I've been having a really rough time lately. My depression has been bad, and my doctors decided to swap up my meds. So my last few weeks, probably the last month, have been very up and down. I had to obviously wean off my other medication and then get onto the new one. I had to have 2 days with no medication, and that was bad. I was hoping by now, after all the years of therapy that I've gone through and things like that, that I would be in a better position without the medication, but unfortunately, no. So I'm on something new now. It is giving me a lot more energy. I'm hoping that you can see that by this vlog. Also, that last vlog that I did, I actually had, as I think I wrote in there somewhere, or I said something, I was fighting off a panic attack that whole time. And yeah, that was not fun. And now that I have been on my new medication, I don't think I've had any kind of panic attack symptoms. So that is really, really good. I'm really pleased with that. It is giving me back energy, but it is also, it occasionally wipes me out. And I've been having a lot of issues with my executive function, which is the get up and go and doing things. And last week was really bad. It was basically a failure to launch. Last week I did very little, but this week I'm feeling much better, hence I'm recording, hence we're gonna probably be doing some planning this afternoon after this is edited for Vlogmas stuff. I'm hoping I'll have some interesting things for you guys. My life is not very interesting, so we'll see. I know this week is probably going to be quite full on because it is Simon's birthday on Thursday, so we're going to be going out to the movies, probably having some afternoon tea or some lunch or something out. And then we are spending the weekend painting the dark walls down in our lounge room, so below me right now. Because this wall here used to be this really dark sort of aubergine-y, purpley brown. I think it took maybe 4 coats of this paint to get rid of that really dark wall. And that same paint has been used on, let's see, the coordinating wall in the lounge room downstairs, the wall on the return for the kitchen, and then the wall of the doorway into the kitchen. So we're going to try and paint all of that this weekend, so that I said to Simon I'd really love to have that done before Christmas Eve, because we are having Simon's sister and dad and his partner over here for Christmas Eve. And yeah, we're hosting this year because obviously we've got the brand new house, so we're going to have everybody over and have Christmas Eve. So I'm excited about it, but there's a lot of hard work in between because I'm going to have to get so much stuff cleaned up, so much stuff decluttered, sold, given away, plus the painting. So yeah, this weekend's going to be pretty full on trying to get that all done. But thankfully, at least 2 of the walls that we have to paint that is that horrid aubergine brown are smaller. One of them has got a giant doorway in it, so it's just going to be the surrounds of the door. And the other one has a panel of mirrors. So if you have seen any of my tours of the house on Instagram and things like that, you can find that in the video or live section, I think. I did a live, so if you want to head over to Lovebird Lane on Instagram, you should be able to see that house tour there. Yeah, one of the mirrored walls with the shelves we've kept. The other mirrors on the other like perpendicular wall we've gotten rid of. So that needs to be patched, that needs to be painted. I think it's partially patched. So yeah, I'm sick of looking at this. Like, when I sit on the couch down below, it's horrible aubergine brown, and then the top corner of the room on the right hand side is pale paint, so like a cream paint with massive chunks missing and plastered over from those bloody mirror tiles that Simon spent an entire weekend trying to get down. I think 12 tiles. They're just those stick-on tiles, you know, those square mirror tiles. And yeah, it probably took him all weekend just to get that one wall off, because we were going to probably take both off. But by the time he was finished with that one side, we were just like, yeah, maybe we're keeping them there. Maybe. So, or at least we're waiting quite a while to get rid of them instead of putting him through that again. Yeah, that wasn't fun. But yeah, so we should have a lovely painted lounge room by the end of the weekend, and I'm here for it. I'm absolutely here for it because I'm sick of looking at that disgusting colour. It's going to be so good to look back and see how gross it was and how good it is going to be shortly. House decorating's looking up, health is looking up, so I think everything's pretty cool over here at Lovebird Lane HQ at the moment. I'm actually missing dyeing yarn. I decided, because of all the house stuff that I needed to do, that I would take a little short like Christmas hiatus basically. So once the advent calendars were done and out, I would then take the rest of the year off. Because I had all that time off earlier in the year because I was packing to move and decluttering, all of that sort of stuff, which I need to do more of, which just sucks. I missed dyeing yarn then, and then I got back into it for the advent, and then I've stopped again, and it's just like it's like you've just waved something that somebody really wants in their face and then taken it away and said you can't have it. And I mean, I know it's all you know, self-imposed. I can get the dye pots out if I want, I can dye yarn if I want, but I do have other things that are probably more important that I should be focusing on. So yeah, I do miss it. I do really, really miss being at those dye pots and filling up the shop every week with pretties for you all. Hopefully in January, I think, once Simon goes back to work in January, which I think is the first week of January, I'm hoping to get back into dyeing yarn on a regular basis. And if you want to keep updated with that, follow me over on Instagram. I do have a newsletter. I believe the link is down in the description. If you want to sign up to the newsletter, that'll tell you all about shop updates and things like that. So yes, and I also have put something new down in the description as well, a link as well. Many of you probably know I do have a Patreon. And if you'd like to support me on a monthly basis, it's only about Australian $3 to support me. It's just a little virtual tip jar if you enjoy my content, because I am not monetized. I think I need to have at least 1,000 subscribers, and I'm not quite there yet. So I can't monetize my channel, and this does take a lot of work. So if you would like to support my channel, you can join my Patreon, or alternatively, if you don't want to do a monthly thing, you can also support me just buying me a coffee down below. So the money doesn't necessarily have to go to coffee. I can save it up and use it to buy other things that I need for the vlog. But yeah, if you want to do a once-off thing, you can do that down there too, and I will give you a shout out if you do. And also you will have my undying appreciation. And yes, that's my spiel there. And also, if you would like to, if you are not subscribed, please give me a subscribe and share me with your friends if you think they'd like my content, because yeah, I'd really love to grow this channel and be able to monetize and things like that. But yeah, I'm not quite there right now. I do appreciate everybody who tunes in every week. I love seeing that people are watching my videos and getting comments and stuff like that. And I do try to respond to everybody, and I'm trying to be better at that as well and getting back on a more regular basis. So please do leave me a comment. Let me know what you're working on. Tell me about yourself. Introduce yourself if you haven't spoken to me before. I'd love to hear from you. And yeah, I probably should leave it there. It has been going for a very long time. I think I'm verging on an hour, which is very, very unlike me. And I'm getting very hot, and I'd like to retreat to the coolness of downstairs. So thank you so much for watching. It really means the world that you come back and watch this vlog. And if you are new, thank you so much for trying me out. I really hope that you enjoyed, and if you did, please give us a like or hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. So thank you so much, and happy knitting, happy crafting, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye! Oh, and see you in Vlogmas.